Okay, you guys, I'm doing something a little different today. I thought I'd do a product review. So it's taking me a while to track this stuff down and really figure out how we can get our hands on it. So when I first found out about key links, I was excited because oh, I know one of the guys that works at this company. So I called him. He's like, well, we're no longer carrying it. I was like, what? Very disappointed. So long story short, it is at actually HMH. They carry this now. The only problem is that when I went online to look at it, it's like you have to email them for information. So come on, HMH, please get some information online, because I would love to be able to share the link with teachers to see all the different big books that are available. So this is actually a series by Jill Eggleton. So if you have the sales big books, they're phenomenal, but we can't get them here in the States anymore. They still publish them, but there's not anyone that's carrying the right to sell them here in the US. So I really was wanting to get this in the hands of teachers. So I talked with Jill Eggleton through email, and long story short, found out that HMH is carrying it. But let me show you some things I love about it. So I've been really disappointed with a lot of the big books that are coming out, and people are calling it shared reading. And that is because if you really look for young children, the key elements for shared reading is being able to have rhyme, rhythm, and repetition. Those 3 R's are really big factors because that's what's helping develop phonemic and phonological awareness, all the rhyming, all the playing with language. And it also keeps it alive so that when we read it across the week of 5 days, kids are still coming back saying, read it again. I've always loved the books that have come through sales because of the humor. They're quite humorous and funny. Illustrations are great. So I'm going to share this one with you today and just kind of show you some of the things about the product that I really like. This is Baboon's Nest by Jill Eggleton. And one of the things that's nice is there are guide notes to kind of help teachers throughout the week. Gives you the overview. It even tells you up here, there's if it's whole class or group talk, and some wow words. As we go through, the illustrations are phenomenal. This one's called Baboon's Nest, and you get these beautiful, rich colors. I love the size of the print because it's nice and big. Easy for us to track text. I even love some of this really great way that they've executed the text from across the page, because the sun went down, 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 and a baboon made a nest in a tree. And there he is. You can see him up close. And now an interesting thing is this barcode over here, the sidebar, because over here it's going to tell us, this is going to be whole group. Is there anything on day 1 that I would do on this page, right? What would I do on day 2 on this page? What would I do on day 3 and day 4? And you'll see that day 5's not here. And so with each page, as we go through it, and look at how lovely and fun is that. That's crazy good. Then we get over here, and here's day 2. So on day 1, I'm going to read the whole book. But on day 1, when I get to this page, I don't stop and do anything because I don't have any tips right here. But on day 2, I will stop on this page and do some talking, like this says, read this page to the students, and then encourage them to read it with you and focus on the words plop and flop. So it's giving you some pointers. And then here's day 3. And it goes through the whole way, right? Giving us these tips. These are some of the things I feel that teachers need a lot of support on. I get very disappointed because I notice that there are a lot of people in this country calling shared reading about 10 different things. And if we actually go back to the pure form of shared reading and its purpose, it was to develop and support kids in oral language acquisition and developing rich vocabulary. And so there's a book that Brenda Parks has published years ago. It's called Read It Again. It's phenomenal. And I know that a lot of big books were in a lot of the different adoption offerings in the state of Texas, and most likely in your state if you're not in Texas. Having said that, though, you have to go through those and go, okay, which of these don't have rhyme, rhythm, repetition? Because that to me is what makes a good key shared read for kids in kindergarten, pre-K, first grade, and even second grade. And then the other thing that I would say is the size of the font and the spacing is really particular for KN1. It shouldn't be a leveled book. So in shared reading, I'm not doing a leveled book because what the whole purpose in shared reading is to enrich kids' language. So I'm not saying that if I'm going to use a leveled book in a lesson, that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not shared reading. Not shared reading that I learned that really originated and came from Don Holdaway. So I just want to give you guys that tip. So if you're sitting with shared reading books and your big books, one thing I suggest for teachers to do is to go through all their big books and sort them between what's going to be good for shared reading, what's going to be better for just read aloud, or maybe mini lessons, which is great. And that way you know, do you have any gaps in what you need for shared reading? And there's a huge gap in the market for shared reading anyway. And if you want it in Spanish, I won't tell you, I think using a lot of poems, Spanish poems and things like that are going to be supportive. So I'm going to put the link in the bottom to the HMH link to where these Jilly readers exist. And hopefully we can get some more information from them in regards to being able to see all of the different books that are available, as well as some of the small readers. All right, so hope you guys have a great day.